Take a look at the best winning percentage by an FBS head coach all time. Ryan Day is 70-10. His winning percentage is only second to Notre Dame legend Knute Rockne. Are you kidding me? Where do we come up with this stuff? Great full screens, research, graphics department. This is fantastic. Ryan Day, have a day, kid. What do you got?
Following an opening statement from Coach, we will take questions when you're ready.
Opening.
Yeah,
I was looking down at this. I just can't say enough about our guys and what they've overcome to get to this point, and they now have something to show for it. And I thought Notre Dame had a great season, and I think Marcus does a great job, and they have a very, very good team, and had a really good game plan. That first drive went right down the field, and I thought we responded in a big way. Never flinched. And I think, again, if you think about the run we've gone on here in the playoffs, a big part of the way we've responded coming off the end of the season, but then even, the way the Texas game went and the way we responded early in that first quarter. And then even, in the second half, just continuing fighting the momentum because, Notre Dame was fighting to get it back. And we just kept swinging and got a huge stop there on fourth down on defense, got the missed field goal, kept swinging. Kept playing, and I give this guy a lot of credit right here, Will Howard. I think he ran the ball 16 times in a game. We knew it was going to be that way. It was the last game we had, so we were going to let out all the bullets, and he really put the team on his back, and obviously delivered the huge third down conversion, which sealed the game. But we just felt like in this game, the number one goal was to win. And that's where it started for on offense, defense, and special teams, find a way to win the game. And that's what we did here in the playoffs. And now the stories of these guys will be told because they've cemented themselves in Ohio State history. The 9th national champ and the 3rd, really, in the last 50 years. There's been some great, great teams in the last, 50-some-odd years at Ohio State. Great teams, great players. Only 3 have been national champs, and these guys are one of them.
We'll go ahead and start questions. We're going to start over here on our left.
This one's for Will. Coach Day talked about your rushing performance, but you're 13 of your first 13 in the game. Could you just talk about the rhythm of those first 13 throws and your rhythm throughout the game, including that big one at the end to seal the deal to Smith?
Yeah, coming into this season, I think something that Coach Day and Coach Kelly and Billy really emphasized to me was completions. Get completions, take completions. There was a couple times early where maybe I had to check it down or maybe it wasn't, perfectly how it's drawn up. But you want to, just keep the ball moving, and stay on schedule. And it may not always be pretty. You may have to go pick it up with your legs. But, I got to give all the credit to my guys, my O-line giving me time. And those guys, the receivers, we got the best receiver room in the country, and it's not even close. And the running backs did a hell of a job, man. And everybody, really stepped up when they needed it.
Okay, we're going to come over here to our left on the aisle.
Ryan, you've talked all year about the idea. Over here. You talked all year about this idea of leaving no doubt. And obviously the last 4 years haven't always been pretty for you. As you're realizing in real time that you're about to win a national championship and join some of the legends at Ohio State, what's going through your head as you kind of look back on the journey to get here?
That, God made it hard for a reason. And, you just never know what's in your path along the way. But this game can give you the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. It can take you to your knees some days as a player and as a coach. And I've been there before. And, for all those coaches or people who, are, on a journey to what they're looking to accomplish, if they're trying to achieve greatness, you're trying to become national champs in the most competitive environment there is in the entire world. There's nothing more competitive than college football, in my opinion. And it's going to be hard. And there's going to be things you'll learn along the way. But if you surround yourself with great people, you're resilient, and you believe in the guys around you, and you just keep fighting and keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you give yourself another chance. And that's really what it was. And you think, back we were in the stadium last time. And, I couldn't quite come to grips for a while with, why we just didn't quite finish that game against Georgia. But I understand now. It all makes sense. And here we are. And I couldn't feel better.
Come over here to our right.
Chrissy Freud, USA Today. Will, you played lights out down the stretch. How do you stay mentally steady as a quarterback through that? That's so important to the position. And then, Ryan, what have you seen from Will and his development at Ohio State since he came over from Kansas State?
You know, speaking to that, I feel like, you know, it can be a lot. You know, the lights are bright. You know, it's a spectacle, and the TV timeouts are like 4 minutes long, and it feels like everything's kind of a show a little bit. But you have to block all that out. We talked about that all week. Eliminate all the distractions. Don't listen to any of the outside noise. Just finish the job. And, you know, when you get into big games like this, you know, whoever is able to, you know, have the poise and the noise and be able to, you know, overcome adversity, because it wasn't always pretty today. You know, it wasn't always perfect, and it's never going to be. But I think we, you know, the team that we have and you know, the leadership that we have with Coach Day, I mean, with just the resilience that this team has shown all year, I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and it started with me when I first met Will. I just saw something in him, a football IQ, intelligence. I saw him play, you know, on film at Kansas State and win championships and win big games and be able to make an impact with his feet, but also, you know, throw with accuracy and anticipate throws. And those are things that, you know, are hard to find. And then you see a guy, you meet him, and is just football IQ and maturity is what kind of captured me. And, you know, I had a feeling that we would be in a situation like this where we needed his feet to go win a game, and it's exactly what happened in this game. But what I didn't know was how special his leadership is and his resilience and his positive mindset. It's something I learned a lot about. Yeah, I learned from these guys all the time. I've learned a lot from Cody Simon since he's been here, and I've learned a lot from this guy in 1 year. You know, I've told stories about some different times in practice when he has such a positive mindset around the players. And we decided to go in the huddle this year for the first time since I've been at Ohio State, because we knew the season was going to be long and we wanted to be fresh. And I felt like we were fresh in the playoffs, and I think that had a big part to do with it. But what we didn't understand along the way was the impact that he was going to have, and the offensive line was going to come together, and the offense was going to come together because there's 11 guys in a huddle breaking the huddle together. Like even in walkthroughs, when we break the huddle together, it was just a crispness to it that they were together on that I think made the difference to these guys on offense. But you know, I also just want to make sure that we recognize how hard the defense played in this game and how great they've been throughout the season. And this guy's one of the great leaders that I've been around, Cody Simon. And I think Jim Knowles and our defensive staff deserve a tremendous amount of credit, not only for the game plan that they put together, but also just throughout the season, just how they've taught technique, how they built confidence in our defense, because they've been lights out through the entire playoffs.
Stay over here on our right-hand side.
Bill Urban, West Columbus Dispatch. For Ryan, but also the players, ever since Denzel Burke said in March, natty or bust, and you guys embraced that. The pressure on you guys has been immense, especially after the Michigan loss. How did you handle that, get through it? Did that galvanize you? And Ryan, what does it mean to win a national championship? And if I could ask you, why did you make the play call, the call for Jeremiah on the last one?
Yeah, you guys can talk about, you know, what it's been like this season. And go ahead, you guys can hit that, and I'll follow up.
Yeah, no, when we went into the season, we knew that, you know, we had a lot of chips in the pot, and we had the expectations were really high. But I think the biggest thing that came down to this season was just the every day, just stacking each day one on top of the other. I think you guys heard about like the foundation and how we're building bricks every single practice. I think that was probably one of the biggest things that really brought together this team to get to this level, because, you know, you go through camp, you go through the season, and, you know, each day it kind of molds together, but you can look back and you see the foundation you've been building. And I mean, we knew that the end goal was to win this game, and, you know, we knew that our foundation was meant to survive for this game. And so, you know, I just appreciate that all the guys were up for the challenge, and then we all stuck together, because there was times where we could have really frayed apart. And but I'm so proud of all the guys on the team.
Yeah, and I think that this playoff system allowed our team to learn and grow and build. And, you know, you can say whatever you want about, you know, people talk a lot about, you know, how much money guys were making in NIL and different things like that. Like, you know, that was just because NIL was available, you know, and the majority of our team came back. These guys have been here for a long time. Certainly, you know, Will was a huge addition. Caleb was a huge addition. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, when you hear that number, like, that doesn't mean a whole lot, other than the fact that the market value for our guys in Columbus and Ohio State is pretty high. That's really what it means. And so when that got tagged on us early, yeah, there was a lot of pressure put on our players, and but that's nothing new at Ohio State. I think the difference is that we finished the season the right way, and we grew, we built, and we responded to tough times. And man, isn't that what life's all about? And these guys learned a bunch of life lessons, but they're going to go down in Ohio State history as some of one of the greatest teams to ever play at Ohio State. After all the things that have been said throughout the year, these guys are going to be cemented as one of the best stories in Ohio State history and one of the best football teams ever. Only 9 teams have ever done it, and 3 in the over 50 years. These guys right here. And there was a point where not a lot of people had that vision, but these guys did, and they saw it through. And Ohio State may not be for everybody, but it's for these guys, and I'm really proud of them.
Ohio against the world. Ryan Day's career as Ohio State head coach, take a look at the record. 5-3 in the college football playoff. 1-4 against Michigan. That's what he gets hammered with. 4 straight losses to the Wolverines. This looks a lot like, do I remember a guy named Jim Harbaugh? He couldn't beat Ohio State, and then he won a national championship, and all was forgiven, right? Michigan fans? He's got to find a way to beat Michigan. There's no question about that. John Cooper couldn't beat Michigan, and they ran him out of town. But he didn't win a national championship. Ryan Day won a national championship.